You know, if someone like me who has schizophrenia and also had the daring disease diagnosis of alcoholism, and somehow I'm making that out okay, there's a reason I did this. Gotta get outside your comfort zone though. If you're willing to do something that's gonna be a little bit rough, a little bit hard, you're gonna have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. I'm telling you, what you're in is a cycle that's called addiction and recovery. You have to get yourself out of this way of thinking. You got two things that are going on. You're compounding one on top of the other. The first thing is that you got yourself into an addiction mindset. The addiction mindset is a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. What I can do is I can also pop up a picture that gives you a clear idea of what's going on. Okay, you've got yourself into the cycle. Now, just because you got yourself into the cycle doesn't mean you can't get out. But trying to get out of this cycle by compounding it with another cycle on top of it called recovery, you're not really getting out of the cycle of fixed mindsets. And so you got to get out of that mindset. When you're compounding one over another, you're going to be doing some of this stuff for the rest of your life. And you're going to think you're going to be on top of it for the rest of your life. And you're going to think you're going to need it for the rest of your life when the lie continues to persist in your heads. If you want to get out of that cycle, what you got to do is you got to be willing to drop the rope of tug-of-war and walk away. Okay, and it's a very daring and scary thing to do because recovery lore is going to make you think that it's not okay to do that. You got to keep fighting until you're fully exhausted. And if you're like me, I got really exhausted and I didn't want to do it anymore because I got tired. And then they told me it wasn't okay to be tired. And then they told me it wasn't okay to take a break from recovery. And then they told me it wasn't okay to think, oh my gosh, I need to start thinking a little more rationally about this and start being a little more realistic about what's actually going on here. I've had people continuously call and text and wonder what's going on. And every single person, when I told them, hey, I have an answer for your problem, none of them responded. Why? Because they're stuck and they're scared. They're stuck in the ridiculous recovery ideology and recovery lore that tells them that they have to be this way. The first thing I don't think is, oh my gosh, I'm an addict. Oh my gosh, I'm an alcoholic. Why? What is the use in doing that? If you have a use in telling yourself that you're basically broken, then go for it. Tell yourself you're broken. See how far that gets you. The reason why you're choosing to not do things is not because you're an alcoholic. The reason why you're choosing not to pursue things is not because you're an alcoholic. Or the reason why you're choosing to ignore people is not because you're an alcoholic. It's fear. It's completely congruent to whatever fear is attached to that. And it doesn't just come down to being alone. There's no such thing as a root cause for your addiction as they're going to try and get you to believe. Things to avoid, things to look at, things to go forth, things to do, things not to do, because you have something that's called fear and a drive. And when you have parents or people or a social society that's telling you not to do things, you're going to add that to fear. So you're going to run away from it. You're going to avoid it. Being someone with schizophrenia and had addiction for the rest of my life, I figured, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I don't enjoy feeling like this for the rest of my life. You don't have to either. I was classified as your real hardcore addict. What is the value I'm putting into this? What is the value? Am I valuing the fact that I just like to drink a lot? Am I valuing the fact that I don't want to be around people? Am I valuing the fact that this is where I get my social attention? Am I valuing the fact that I feel like this is as far as I'm going to go in life? Am I valuing? There's so many answers to this. There's no formidable disease that makes you drink and go out of complete control. It's been proven time and time and time and time again that that's not true. That's why it's not in the DSM. That's why I don't see alcoholism in a psychology diagnostic plan. Because it's not a real diagnosis. What is in the plan? What is in the DSM? Substance use disorder or substance use dependency. You're depending on something to make you happy. That's a more realistic approach. Check out the rest of my videos. I'll go through a real intense description of what's going on when you get yourself into the recovery and addiction cycle and how to get yourself out of that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and keep a good eye out for more and more videos as I drop them every single day. Have a good one.